If you have a bank account in the USA right now, I need you to watch this video before you do anything else today, because there is something happening right now in 2026 that most immigrants and students do not know about. And if you are not prepared, you could wake up one morning and find out your bank account has been closed, with no warning, no explanation, and no way to access your money. I have seen this happen to people, and today I'm going to make sure it does not happen to you. My name is Kolovic, and I help immigrants and students understand how money actually works in the United States. This video is going to cover everything: why banks close accounts, how to protect yourself right now, how to build credit from zero, and the exact steps you need to take today. So please stay until the end because every single part of this matters. Let's start with the biggest thing you probably don't know. In the United States, a bank can legally close your account at any time, for any reason, and they do not have to tell you why. Read that again. They can close your account, anytime, no reason given. And here is the part that will really shock you. If the bank filed something called a suspicious activity report on your account, it is actually a federal crime for any bank employee to tell you that. So when they say, "We cannot explain the reason," they may literally be telling you the truth. They are not being rude. They are not hiding something for no reason. They are legally forbidden from telling you. That is how this system works. Now, over 4.6 million of these suspicious activity reports are filed every year in the United States. So this is not rare. This is happening constantly. The question is, what triggers one of these reports? And more importantly, what can you do to protect yourself? Here are the main reasons banks close accounts. The first one is suspicious activity. This does not mean you did something illegal. It just means your account showed a pattern that looked unusual to their system. For example, if you suddenly make a large cash deposit when your history shows small transactions, the system flags it. Or if you start sending international wire transfers that you never did before. Or if your account suddenly gets a lot of money coming in from different sources. Their computers are watching everything, and anything that looks different from your normal pattern gets flagged. The second reason is a negative balance. If you spend more than you have in your account and go into overdraft, and you do not fix it within about 30 to 60 days, the bank will close your account and send you to collections. That means debt collectors will come after you for that money. So never ever ignore a negative balance. Fix it immediately. The third reason is dormancy. If you do not use your account for anywhere between 6 months and 24 months, depending on which state you are in, the bank can classify it as abandoned property. So even if you have money in there, if you are not touching it, you are at risk. This is why I always tell people, make at least one transaction per month. Even just buying a coffee on your debit card keeps the account active. The fourth reason is sending money to certain countries. If you send a wire transfer to a country that is on what is called the OFAC sanctions list, your account will be automatically frozen. Countries like Iran, Cuba, North Korea, and others are on this list, so always check before you wire money internationally. Now here's the big news for 2026 that every immigrant must know about. The Trump administration is currently working on an executive order that would require all banks, including banks where you already have an account, to collect citizenship documents from every customer, both new and existing. As of right now, in May 2026, this order has been delayed. Major banks pushed back and called it unworkable, but it has not been canceled. Treasury Secretary Bessent confirmed it is still in process. This is not finished. It is still coming. And on top of that, there is something called the Know Your American Customer Act, a bill introduced in March 2026 that would require banks to verify the citizenship or legal status of all customers. It is still just a bill right now, not a law. But I am telling you this so you are not caught off guard. Also in 2025, the IRS and ICE signed an agreement to share data with each other. So if you filed your taxes using an ITIN, that information could potentially be accessed. Legal challenges against this are happening right now, but I want you to know about it so you can make informed decisions. Here is the most important thing I need you to do today. Open a second bank account at a different institution. Right now, not next week. Today. If one account gets frozen or closed, you will still have access to your money in the other account while you figure out what happened. Spread your money. Do not keep everything in one bank. This is the number one thing I recommend to every immigrant I talk to. Now let me explain exactly how you can open a bank account in the USA, even if you do not have a social security number. Here is something most people do not know. Under something called the USA Patriot Act, banks are required to verify who you are, but they are not required to verify your immigration status. There is no federal law that says you must be a citizen to have a bank account. What they need is identification, and a foreign passport is acceptable at many major banks. But here is the thing. Most banks will ask for a tax ID number. If you have a social security number, great, use that. But if you don't, you need something called an ITIN. This stands for Individual Taxpayer Identification Number. It is issued by the IRS using a form called W-7. Anyone can apply for it. They do not check your immigration status to give it to you. It takes about 7 to 11 weeks to get, and you can apply in person at an IRS Taxpayer Assistance Center completely free of charge. And here is something important. An ITIN is not proof of legal status. It does not authorize you to work. It is purely a tax ID number for people who need to interact with the U.S. financial and tax system. Banks that accept ITIN right now include Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase, PNC Bank, and Citibank. But here is something very important. Call your specific branch before you go. Do not just walk in. Call first and ask them what documents they need for someone with an ITIN. Requirements can vary even between branches of the same bank. When you go in person, bring your passport, a secondary ID like your visa or consular ID or foreign driver's license, proof of a U.S. address, and your ITIN letter from the IRS. For proof of address, you can use a utility bill, a lease agreement, a pay stub, or a bank statement. It must be dated within the last 60 days. One very important tip: go in person. Do not try to open an account online if you are an immigrant. Most online systems are built for Social Security number holders, and they will automatically reject you. Branch visits give you flexibility that the online system does not. If you are a student, this is even better news for you. Most banks have student checking accounts that have no monthly fees, no minimum balance requirements, and many of them accept a student visa as proof of identification. Chase College Checking and Bank of America Advantage Banking are good examples to look at. And if you do not have a U.S. address yet, there are still options. Look for what are called bank-on certified accounts. These are specifically designed for people who are new to banking. They accept alternative IDs, have low or no fees, and no minimum balance. Apps like Wise and Revolut also accept just a passport. No SSN, no ITIN required. And in cities like New York and San Francisco, municipal ID cards are issued by the city itself and accepted at many banks. Now let me talk about the thing that affects every single aspect of your financial life in America: your credit score. When you first arrive in the United States, you have no credit score. 0. It does not matter if you had excellent credit in your home country. That history does not transfer here. You are what lenders call credit invisible. And being credit invisible has real consequences that most people do not realize until they are already hurt by it. Without a credit history, landlords can reject your rental application. Phone companies will make you pay a large deposit or go prepaid only. Car insurance companies will charge you more. You cannot get a regular credit card. You cannot get a car loan or a mortgage. The credit score system controls almost everything in American financial life. So let me explain exactly how the credit score works and how you build it from nothing. Your credit score, specifically the FICO score, goes from 300 to 850. Below 580 is considered poor. From 580 to 669 is fair. From 670 to 739 is good. From 740 to 799 is very good. And 800 and above is exceptional. Most things in life become much easier once you reach 700 and above. 5 things determine your score. The most important, 35% of your score, is your payment history. Did you pay on time? This is the single biggest factor. The second biggest is your credit utilization, which is 30% of your score. This means how much of your available credit limit are you actually using. You should always try to stay under 30%. So if you have a credit card with a $500 limit, try to never have more than $150 on it at one time. The third factor is the length of your credit history, which is 15%. The older your accounts, the better. Fourth is your credit mix at 10%. Having different types of credit like a card and a small loan helps. And the last 10% is new credit inquiries. Every time you apply for a new card, it creates a small dip in your score. Here is the realistic credit building timeline for someone starting from 0. In your first month or 2, apply for an ITIN if you don't have one, and then open what is called a secured credit card. This is a credit card where you put down a deposit, usually between $200 and $500, and that deposit becomes your credit limit. This is the standard starting point for anyone with no credit history. Good options in 2026 are the Discover It Secured Card, the Capital One Platinum Secured Card, and the Citi Secured MasterCard. Make sure the card reports to all 3 credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. This is important because some cards only report to 1 or 2, which slows your progress. Use this card for small purchases only. Buy groceries on it, buy gas, nothing big, and then pay the full balance every single month before the due date. Never miss a payment. Never. By months 3 through 6, if you are doing this consistently, your first credit score will appear, usually somewhere in the range of 580 to 620. It is not impressive yet, but it exists, and that matters. Here is some very exciting news for 2026. A scoring model called VantageScore 4.0 was approved for mortgage lending in July 2025. This is a huge win for immigrants because VantageScore 4.0 only needs 1 month of credit history to generate a score, compared to 6 months for the traditional FICO score. And it also counts your rent payments and utility payments toward your score. This means if you have been paying rent on time, that can now actually help your credit. Services like Rental Karma and Rent Track report your rent to the bureaus, and this now counts under VantageScore 4.0. From months 6 to 12, your score should climb towards 650 to 680. At this point, many banks will contact you and offer to upgrade your secured card to a regular unsecured card and return your deposit. This is a great sign of progress. And after 12 to 24 months of consistent on-time payments, you can realistically reach 700 and above. At that point, you can apply for better credit cards with cashback rewards and much better terms. There are also some powerful tools that most people do not know about. The first is a credit builder loan. This is a loan where the money actually goes into a savings account and stays there while you make monthly payments. Once you finish paying it off, you get the money. The whole point is that your payment history gets reported to the credit bureaus, so you are building your score without actually going into real debt. Credit unions often offer these. The second tool is becoming an authorized user on someone else's credit card. If you have a family member or a very trusted friend in the USA with a good credit history, ask them to add you as an authorized user on their account. You do not even have to use the card. Just being listed as an authorized user means their good payment history shows up on your credit report. This can give your score a significant jump instantly. And the third tool many immigrants do not know about is USACredit. This is a service that actually translates your home country credit history into a format that US lenders can understand. It currently works for people from India, Mexico, the UK, Canada, Australia, and several other countries. And American Express is already using this system. So if you have years of good credit in your home country, this might help you skip the slow early stages. Now let me talk about hidden fees that immigrants often don't notice until they are losing money without understanding why. Many banks charge monthly maintenance fees of $5 to $15 if your balance drops below a certain minimum. Some accounts require you to keep $1,500 to $2,500 in the account at all times to avoid this fee. If you don't keep that minimum, that fee will quietly come out of your account every single month. Read your account terms carefully. Student accounts are usually the best option for avoiding these fees. Overdraft fees are another hidden cost. If you spend more than what is in your account, some banks charge $25 to $35 per transaction, not per day, per transaction. So if you accidentally overspend 5 times in one day, that could be $175 in fees in a single day. Turn off overdraft protection if your bank offers that option, so purchases are simply declined rather than charged a fee. International wire transfer fees can also surprise you. Sending money home to your family can cost $15 to $45 per transfer depending on the bank. Apps like Wise are significantly cheaper for international transfers, often under $5 for the same transaction. There is also something you need to know about called check systems. This is a private agency that keeps a record of people who have had bank account problems, things like accounts closed for fraud or unpaid negative balances. If you are on this list, most traditional banks will refuse to open an account for you, and the record stays for up to 5 years. You can get your free annual report at checksystems.com, and if there are errors on your report, you can dispute them in writing to have them removed. Now let me tell you what to do if your account actually gets closed. First, contact the bank right away. Do not wait. Ask for your remaining funds in writing. Ask them to send you a check for whatever balance you had. Second, go to checksystems.com and pull your report to see if there is a negative record. Third, if you believe the account was closed wrongfully, you have the right to file a complaint with the OCC, the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, at helpwithmybank.gov. This is a federal regulator, and banks take complaints from them seriously. And here is something that I want every immigrant watching this to do right now, today, regardless of your situation. Prepare. Because preparation is what protects you when things go wrong suddenly. Designate a trusted person as your financial power of attorney. This is a legal document that gives someone you completely trust the ability to manage your bank accounts, pay your bills, and make financial decisions on your behalf if you are ever in a situation where you cannot do it yourself, for any reason. Contact your bank and confirm whether they allow someone to be listed on your account with a foreign address. Download and print your bank statements right now. Save every important document. If you ever lose access to online banking suddenly, paper records are your proof. And visit appleseednetwork.org. This organization has free guides specifically for immigrants on how to prepare your finances for emergency situations, including deportation. Let me close with this. The rules are changing. The political environment around immigration and banking is shifting right now in 2026. As of today, no law has passed that allows banks to close accounts based on immigration status alone. Your rights still exist, but the situation is moving quickly, and you need to be ahead of it, not behind it. Here is exactly what you should do this week. First, if you don't have an ITIN, start that application at irs.gov right now. Second, open a second bank account at a different bank from wherever you currently have your account. Third, get a secured credit card and start building your credit history today. Fourth, turn on rent reporting through a service like Rental Karma, so your on-time payments actually count. Fifth, download your bank statements and set up a financial power of attorney with someone you trust. These 5 steps will put you in a completely different position, one where you have options, you have backup, and you have protection no matter what happens in the months ahead. I know this was a lot of information, but you stayed until the end, and that means you are serious about protecting yourself and your family. Please share this video with every immigrant or student you know in the United States right now. This information can genuinely change someone's life. Like this video, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and leave a comment below telling me which part of this surprised you the most. I read every single one. I will see you in the next video.